In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at some of the basic 3-3 variations and the follow-ups. First, black needs to decide where to block. And usually, black is going to block toward where black has its own stones. And from here, white is going to extend, and the most trendy one is black extending or the small necks. But let's take a look at this hane first. White is going to hane back. When black extends, white hanes again. Black is going to extend again. And from here, the old Joseki would be white hanes, black hanes, and white connects. Black forms a tiger's mouth, and white plays away. This result seems like it's great for white because at the end, white gets the corner and gets the sente. So it's really good for white, but it could be even better for white if white didn't make this exchange. From here, white could tenuki, but it can get pretty disgusting, so it's better for white to extend one more time and then split over here. Or you can play away. Let's take a look at this splitting. In the classic Joseki, black had this tiger's mouth over here, which means this group is pretty much alive. It's not going to get attacked too severely. But if we don't have that exchange and instead we got this variation, then when white comes over here, this side is very empty. From here, if black comes from this side, white can make a 2-space extension. If black plays something away, then at any time white can peep when black connects. There's gonna be a tiger's mouth, so I can play this, and this all of a sudden turned from an influence into a stick that has to run for life. If black comes from this side, then white can 2-space extension too. Black probably needs another move to defend this corner, and white can play away again. So when black hanes over here, as long as white plays this hane, extend and another extension and plays away, white can usually, at least in Q levels, usually get 2 sentes in a row. And in the early game, that's a huge thing. Let's take a look at what happens if black hanes. Then white first is going to hane back. When black connects, white can extend one more time. If black comes into the corner like this, white simply goes out. That's pretty much alive. If black extends again, white can still play away because this is not going to die. Let's take a look at another variation, which is when white hanes, black double hanes. In this Joseki, one of the worst thing white can do is this attachment or something like this. Anything inside is terrible because black first is going to secure that cutting point. White is still not alive, so white needs to make sure white's alive by making this exchange. But although white got the sente at the end, black completely locked white inside the corner. So this one is 100% good for white. From here, white has 2 ways of playing. First is this atari, and second is this hane. You play this atari if you want a ponuki over here and grow that side of the board. You play this hane if you want to get a ponuki over here and maybe grow here or destroy this part of the board. Let's take a look at this atari first. Black is going to connect when white ataris, black ataris back. When white captures this stone, black captures this stone. This is end of this Joseki. The most common follow-ups from this one is white extends this stone, black extends, and from here white can either sneak a move over here, try to get this side of the board, or white can simply extend over here, and black probably has to answer, otherwise white hane can be a problem. So black is going to answer, then white can keep pushing to grow this side. What happens if black doesn't answer? Then white is going to hane, then black has no choice but to either jump or capture these 3 stones. If black still doesn't answer, then white can pull out these stones. As soon as black hanes back, everything dies over here. What if black extends like this? Then white can extend again. Black still can't hane. Black needs to extend. From here, white can turn around and capture the corner like this. So when white extends, it's better for black to hane, but if there are any better moves, black can choose to play away. Then when white hanes, if black wants to be safe, then black can capture these stones. If not, black can make this one space jump. But this one can get a bit complicated and weird. Black needs to capture these stones and white Ataris, black captures these 3 stones. And from here, if white wants to grow that side of the board, then white can Atari this stone. If white wants to get something over here, then white can Atari this way. This is the further follow-up to this Joseki. When black double hanes, what if white does not want anything over here? Perhaps it's something like this over here. It's very thick and there is absolutely no value of getting a ponuki over here. Then white could hane over here. If black hanes back, white can cut over here. If black ataris this stone, then white can connect up. Black probably wants to capture this stone from here. And since white doesn't want anything over there, white could connect up. And because black has this Atari and Atari over here, if black wants to secure some points over here, then black needs to connect. But if there is some value of going out over there, then white could Atari, black connects up, and white captures this stone. If there are no stones over there, this is actually a really great result for white. If there are no stones over here, then white connecting up is a terrible decision because black gets to lock white inside the corner. Again, even if white has the sente at the end, this is a terrible result for white. If there are some white stones over there, then white definitely has to Atari this one, black connects, oops, white Ataris, and black may do this exchange. This is an excellent result for white. So just remember, if there is a white stone or nothing, then you have to play this Atari. But if there's absolutely no value of leaking into this side, getting stones on this side, because black is super thick and there's really no reason to do that, then you may be able to connect up, probably gonna get a sente and play away. If black Ataris from this side, then white gets a double Atari from here, so this result is definitely terrible for black. So if black wants to keep the corner, then black has no choice but to connect over here. Then white is going to Atari this stone, black Ataris back. When white captures this stone, black could extend, but it can be a lot of code threats, so just capture these stones and white can play away. Now let's take a look at this extension. This is probably one of the most commonly used one in our games. From here, white has 2 choices, actually 3, but we have this extension, this small knights, and this jump. But this jump can get unnecessarily complicated, so you can settle with this extension and the small knights. How to choose when to extend and when to small knights is a really easy question, because if your opponent has a stone over there, then you small knights. If you have your own stone over here, then you can still small knights, but you can also extend. Black is going to hane from here. When white hanes back, black is going to play away. Later on, because black has this weak stone over here, white can Atari. When black extends, white extends to settle this bottom part of the board. Black is going to extend, When white pulls out this stone, black is going to try to attack these stones. And white can play this weird extra one more space large knights move. Then black is going to cut the connection and white can Kosumi out. And we're going to have a fight over here. And since we have a stone over here, this fight kind of favors white. But on the other hand, if we have a black stone over here, this fight is absolutely terrible for white, because when white is running this side, then black is getting territory over here. When white is running this side, black is getting territory over here. In short, if black has a stone over here, and if white extends hane, and cut, this is terrible for white, because all white got is this unliving group and nothing else, while black is making points here and there everywhere. So if there's a black stone over there, then since you're not going to cut anyway, just small knights out and take your points. Let's take a look at a follow-up Joseki from here from black side, which is this hane. Then white is going to hane back. When black double hanes, white could first Atari this stone. Black is going to have to connect and Atari this stone. And black can either play away from here, or black can also Atari over here. If white Ataris, then black can Atari this one too. When white captures this stone, black can completely play away, or even get this tiger's mouth sneaked in. This way, white is actually 100% locked inside the corner. When black Ataris this stone, there's a chance of white capturing this black stone over here. Then you can push in. When white defends the corner, this corner is completely alive, so there's really no point of black trying to do any more moves over here. So black can play away or just Atari this stone. From here, later white can play this Kosumi to get its head out in the middle. I see a lot of people playing this small knights thinking it's good, but black can first hane. When white hanes back, black can make a Kosumi over here. When white tries to connect back, black can play this tiger's mouth. Of course, white is going to cut. When black connects, white needs to capture this stone. Otherwise, these three stones are going to die, so white needs to capture it. And black gets to cut. When white captures it, black can pull out, and white got this unliving group out of nowhere, and white is living very small in the corner. Even if white gets this Atari, black can let white have it. When white captures it, black can play away and even further attack these stones. Maybe this way is better. Yep, black can further attack these two white stones, and this game is extremely good for black from here now on. If white doesn't get this Kosumi, then at any time black can play this hane first. When white hanes back, black is going to play this attachment. The easier way to deal with it is to Atari. Black connects and white pushes out. When black attaches over there, one of the most common response in the Q games is this push. Then black, of course, is going to block. These three stones are going to get into Atari. So from here, white can choose to Atari this one, which is not that good, or Atari this stone. Then black is going to Atari these white stones. When white captures this one, black Ataris again. White connects, black Ataris this stone. White Ataris back, black connects, and white small knights out. If the ladder on this start point is good for black, then black can ladder this stone out. But that's usually not the case, so black can small knights to almost capture this stone, and white another small knights out. This is another variation on the follow-up. From this position, another follow-up from white is this Atari. When black connects, I see a lot of people actually play away from this, but you really need another extension over here. If white doesn't play another move over here, then black could hane. When white hanes back, black can cut over here. If white wants this down, then the whole corner is going to die. Let me quickly show you. White captures it and black captures these 3 stones. So when black cuts over here, the safest answer would be this move, but then black gets to ladder this stone out and white stones are completely locked inside the corner. So this is terrible for white. So after this Atari Connect exchange, always remember to extend 1 down. Even Shinjin-seo plays it, there's no reason for you to not play it over here. Another common response from black would be this small knights. As soon as white attaches over here, black hanes, white bumps, and black extends, this is going to turn into a huge Joseki where nobody wants to play. If you want to simplify it, if you're black, try not to play this one if you're not familiar with the follow-ups. If you're white, you can bump first. If black extends, then we'll go back to this simple Joseki. From time to time, there are Joseki masters who like to abuse us with this complicated Joseki. If you hane over here, then we will go back to that complicated Joseki. So if you want to simplify it, then you can hane over here first. When black hanes back, you can connect back up. You are alive in the corner and black needs another move over here or here. Then white can play away. If black plays this tiger's mouth and you don't want to play away, then you can also play this push. When black blocks, white cuts. Black has this double Atari, so black needs another move. From here, I can play this Atari first. Black is probably going to answer you now. And white extend. And black is probably going to get this once this jump. And if you look at this one, you're alive in the corner and black doesn't have a lot of potential in the middle as long as these 2 stones don't die. If you're confident with this fight, then you can cut and see what happens. If not, just play away. At the end, if black still doesn't secure this cutting point, then you can push and cut and see what happens. Before we finish up this tutorial, let's take a look at when black hanes, white cuts. This one is an overplay from white's side. If you're playing this cut in your games, then you can try to not play it from now on. If your opponent plays this cut, the easiest way to deal with it is this extension. Either Atari won't get black any good result. And this extension over here can get complicated. This hane can also get complicated. The easiest way to deal with it is just this extension. Then white needs to make sure white is alive in the corner. So white is going to make this exchange. From here, black can get this tiger's mouth and fight this stone in the middle because this is still not alive in the corner. But if you want to simplify everything, you can play this 1 space jump. Then white is probably going to Atari these 2 black stones, connect up. White is going to extend Atari. When white Ataris this down, another Atari. When white captures it, just secure your cutting point. And if you look at this one, white is completely locked inside the corner and black has this amazing influence that influences everywhere on the board. So this result is definitely good for black. To sum it up, when white 3-3s, black usually blocks toward black's own stones. From here, black is going to block from this side, white extends, and whenever black hanes, black is going to end up with the gote. So if you want sente, then just extend. When black plays this double hane, if white wants to get this side of the board, then white can Atari from this side. If white wants to get this part of the board, then white can hane from this side. When black hanes back, white is going to cut. If black wants to keep the corner, then black can connect up. and white can Atari, black Atari, and black gets the corner. If black, instead of keeping the corner, wants to get some influence over here, then black could Atari here, white plays over here, black capture this stone, and white can play this variation to go out on this side, and black gets a little bit of thickness over here. This exchange can happen too. So this way, white gets the corner and gets to go out, and black gets some thickness over here. But this variation is really good for white. From here, if white sees absolutely no point of capturing this stone over here and prefer a sente for some reason, then white could connect up and force black to connect up too, and white can play somewhere else. But usually that does not happen a lot, so when you see it, you can just blindly Atari it and capture this stone, because it's 90% of the time it's better variation. The small knights can also get you sente from time to time, but this may turn this Joseki into a really complicated quarter of the board Joseki, so if you don't want to deal with that, just extend. As white, if white has a stone over here, then white may choose to extend Hane and Hane, aiming this cut later in the game. If we have a black stone over here, then white is going to simply small knights. Later in the game, black can Hane. When white blocks, sneak in this attachment over here. If white doesn't want that, at any time, white can come out with this Kosumi. This small knights is also not great because these stones are going to get cut off later in the game. From here, if black wants to move this area first, then black can Hane, and white Hanes back, black double Hanes, and see how white responds to this one. When black Hanes, if white cuts, the easiest way to deal with it is just extend, and white needs to be alive in the corner, so white is going to Hane. When white connects, this tiger's mouth can also be annoying, so just settle with this one space jump. When white cuts, you Atari, white extends, black Ataris, white extends again, black Ataris, and when white captures this stone, just connect up your cutting point and you get this amazing influence.